Coming from these Philly streets, walking to my own beat, telling noisemakers I won't compete, cause I know I'm gonna be a beast. I go hard for what I want, I go hard for what I need. Travel.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Face Behind the Brand, where I talk to entrepreneurs that use their passion for success and change the game. I am your host, Denise Murray. But before I introduce my guest for this evening, I need you all to do me a favor. And if you're on Instagram or if you're on LinkedIn, I want you to just go ahead and put what city and state that you're tuning in from so I can just know where you at and give you some shout outs. Now, today, I have a man that is very, very passionate about the business of life insurance. 6 years ago, he decided to focus on helping families to protect those they love from financial catastrophe. He served in the financial services industry for 20 years. He started his own life insurance business by partnering with the top insurance carriers in the country. He's since consulted with numerous families and businesses about simple ways to get peace of mind through proper protection. He helps individuals, families, and businesses. So without further ado, let me introduce to you all the owner of HGI, Mr. Taurus Williams. Hi, Mr. Williams.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? And also, I wanted to say that I'm an entrepreneur, and I partner with HGI Group International. I'll get into the leadership there and why I decided to partner with them. However, I do have my own financial company, which is Taurus Benefits Group, but HGI is who I partner with to help families, small business owners, and individuals. So, yeah, thank you for the intro, and I'm excited, Denise. I know you're doing great things. Whenever you're, helping entrepreneurs get exposed to the community is great, because what we do, we have the ability to help many, many people, and we have the time and we have the passion. And sometimes when you get with the big corporations, it's like they lose that connection and that touch. So thank you for helping entrepreneurs. And I'm excited to, be on your live tonight.
Yes, thank you for showing up and coming and give us some of these gems. But before we get started, I just want everyone to get to know you a little bit. So can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and what early experiences that shaped you with your views on money?
Okay, awesome. Well, as far as childhood, I come from very humble beginnings in Miami, Florida. Grew up in, a tough part of town, but I was fortunate that I had some mentors. I was in a single mother home, and she was having a tough time with me and decided to put me in martial arts. And I do have to say, like, if you're listening and you have, children and they're open to it and you're open to it, I think martial arts is a great way to teach young people discipline, because I learned how to work outside of what was asked of me, because I wanted to be one of the best. I wanted to, move up in belts and things like that. So I was that kid. I grew up in a tough part of town where, a lot of people made real bad life decisions, right? I mean, as a young kid, I'm talking about like 9, 10, 11, 12, I was having to make business decisions because of some of the things that were going on in Miami. You guys have heard of it. You've seen the movies. A lot of unfortunate, with the drugs and just crime. Lord. So was happy and fortunate to be able to overcome that. And I give credit to my mother. I was adopted by this wonderful lady. She was already retired, Spelman grad, educator, and she wanted like better for me. So she decided to, bring me under her wing, and I was fortunate. She guided me. She believed in me. She, provided me with resources that helped me make good decisions as I was growing up. And when it comes to when you said, how did it shape my view of money? I mean, I grew up in a very poor part of town, and I didn't know people that made money. I didn't know anything about the stock market. My mom didn't either, but I just knew that there was better. because she would always get me out of my environment and expose me to other things. So it was real fortunate that I got to get around some great mentors. She made those connections. I was able to travel out of the country to Paris, Germany, Spain. I mean, France, Germany, and Spain when I was like 14 years old. So, going into high school, my horizons were broadened, and it just made me have a different worldview. So that's my childhood. Went to college at West Georgia. I'm an athlete, played football, and decided that I wanted to learn money. Like I said, I grew up very, it was tough. But, hey, mama made it happen. Hey, mama made it happen. But I wanted to learn money. I was like, man, there's a better way. And during college, I got exposed to golf. And when you get exposed to golf, you see some of the homes on those golf courses, you're like, whoa, what are they doing? Like, whoa, they got it all wrong. So I believe that's what helped me really. I'm serious. Being on that golf course, I was a volunteer, and I was a counselor for juveniles. And I'll never forget seeing this guy walking off, and I was just like, "Excuse me, what do you do? How did you, how are you able to come out here middle of the day and do this?" And he said, "I'm a financial advisor." And I was like, "Well, I want to do that if I can get out here and do what you do."
Right.
And guess what, man? That was the beginning. It was American Express Financial Advisors. Went on an interview, and they gave me the opportunity, and I was fired up, excited. And then what is it? September 11th happened. And I was like, whoa, people aren't going to be moving money. Okay, got to pivot. Ended up getting into financial services on the mortgage side of things. So that's where my background in money and insurance, because they all tie in together. Then I ended up getting into the automotive business after the crash, because that kind of disrupted the real estate and mortgage industry. And that was great. Did well with it. However, unfortunately, in the automotive business, you do well financially, but you never see your family. And I had a young family. I had kids that were just born right before I got started, 2005, 2007, and it was great. It was great. Making great income. Being on TV and being running the stores and all that, but man, it's I wasn't able to be there for my wife. I wasn't able to be there for my sons. And I made a decision. I was like, hey, look, what can I do? What can I do to provide me with the income that I'm getting, but the time as well, the freedom. And I had a family member that was in this business, and I know they made great income, spent a lot of time with the family, was able to travel when they wanted to, how they wanted to, with who they wanted to. I was like, okay, I want to live like that. So we had a conversation, and he gave a rundown of what he did, and he helped families with, their financial challenges, right? He helped them execute game plans that, took them to help them get on the path to the destination they wanted. And I got in the game, and I've been doing it since 2018. Okay. And of course, coming out the gate as an entrepreneur, you know how it is. You got to find your way. You're used to everything coming to you. You got to figure out how to go out and help people.
Right.
So, I stayed with it. It was tough because you're talking about a drop in income with that shift, with that transition, that pivot. Woo, it was tough. The wife was like, "Hey, what are we doing?" But my sons are like, Dad's here all the time. This is awesome, right? This is awesome. And I stayed with it, and ended up getting some great opportunities. Ended up meeting some amazing people, and man, I've been able to help over 1,000 families now with their life insurance, with some retirement planning things. I just got into the trust business, and you know why? I have so many single mothers and single parents and grandmothers that are raising their kids. And you got to think, if you have a life insurance policy and something happens and those kids are underage, it's still going to be controlled by the court.
Right.
And I thought about that, and I was like, my mom was a single mom, and I was an adult when she passed. She passed when I was 20. I was young, but I was an adult. I could do what I needed to do. And I know a lot of single mothers, they're up at night late. They're, it concerns them. What if something happens to me?
Mm-hmm.
And that made me even more passionate about getting the word out and talking to people and just staying with it.
Right. And that's so
And
real.
that's my story.
I fall in that line myself. So so I'm going to go ahead and skip on. Like, what are some, I guess, some common misconceptions that you would say with financial planning in the different areas?
Some common misconceptions are that it's too expensive. A lot of people think that it's just too expensive, and that's based on a misconception. Like, it's not something that they've looked into. Mm-hmm. It's something that they looked at from a distance and they just say, "Oh, no, that's not for me." Okay. Where I am right now, I can't worry about that. Mm-hmm. But you definitely you want to worry about it and you want to deal with it. But what I've learned is, and one of the things that excites me about the financial business is the fact that if you're in the right vehicle, and we talk about that with the company that I partner with, if you're in the right vehicle, you're going to have a better chance of getting to the destination that you want. You got to think, if you're a teacher and you want to make $300,000 a year, it's going to be tough.
Right.
It's going to be tough to do. I mean, just because of the nature of that business and how it works, right? Mm-hmm. We'll get into this, but the most important thing that I think people need to understand and zero in on is that the new six figures is everything. The new six figures is everything. If you're not making 250 to 300,000, it's a struggle.
Right.
I'm telling you, people making $200,000 a year right now are like, after taxes, it's looking crazy. Mm-hmm. So, I think that it's super important that people understand that they gotta figure out what it is that they can do to generate more income. Mm-hmm. That's the start. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I got off on a tangent there. Forgive me.
I started getting close. Like, hold on, what you saying there?
I'm sorry, I get fired up. But look, with financial planning, here's the thing. There's not enough people in this industry. I got to be honest with you. That's really the real challenge.
Right.
There's not enough people that believe in themselves enough to take a go at it. Mm-hmm. That's what I did. I was in a completely different career. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to take a go at it because my mom passed away, no life insurance. Mm-hmm. She loved me. She made sure that I was safe growing up. Right. Everything. But it wasn't because she didn't want to get it. It was just either, no one talked to her about it, gave her some sound information on it, because I know she loved me. I know she loves me. And I know she would have, done something to make sure, she left me the house, which was a wonderful thing. But, there's some people that don't own homes, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
now, I just said life insurance. I'm going to just go ahead and just talk about life insurance and not, okay. I know it's started, so I'm going to just go ahead and let's just go ahead and talk about that first. Where, so what would you say would be the approach to life insurance as part of a comprehensive financial strategy?
Well, one of the things that I do want to speak on is there is a misunderstanding about the cost of life insurance, because there's a lot of information out there that's being pushed, right? And if it don't line up with your budget, most people just be like, hey, look, I'm out, I can't. Right. But I want you to understand, guys, that there's term, there's whole life. Those are the two, well, let's say term and permanent are the two types of life insurance that are out there, right? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, you just want to make sure you have life insurance. And this is the asterisk. Mm-hmm. This is the thing I want to put the exclamation point on. You want to make sure you have enough, because there are numerous people out there, they have life insurance. As a matter of fact, our community, we are the community with the most people that have life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But we are also the community that doesn't have enough life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding how much coverage you need to have is important. More important than the kind of life insurance that you have.
Okay.
And how you can determine how much you're supposed to have. It's a very simple formula. Very simple. It's called the dime strategy. That dime strategy. What'd you say?
What's that? I'm like, what's that?
Look. The dime strategy is your debt, because you want that paid off if God forbid something happens, right? You got cars, things like that, credit cards. You don't want anything coming after your estate, right?
Okay.
So you want to take care of your debts. And then, you student loans, things like that. I don't know how that works as far as if you pass away, but if you can handle your debts, you want to handle your debts, right?
Right.
And then you have the I. So that was the D, the debt. I is your income.
Okay.
So a lot of people believe that when it comes to life insurance, it's only about burial or your funeral, or I want to avoid a GoFundMe. I don't want to be embarrassed. No, listen, the I is everything. If you have people that depend on you, because they depend on your income, right?
Right.
It's like if you had a toaster oven, and that toaster oven every month pumped out money, right?
Right.
Like, you're gonna insure that thing, right? You know what I mean? If it go down, you're gonna be able to replace that bad boy, correct? Hey, that thing pump out money every first and 15th.
That's gonna be fixed first.
Exactly, right. You're like, hey, what's the best insurance I can get for my toaster, right? So look, you got to think, like, so as breadwinners and husbands and wives and mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters, we people depend on us, right? We got to go out, we make it happen. And those people, they look to benefit from what we bring to the table, the value that we bring, right? Whether it be financially or other things, but you want to take care of the financial part because you can. And, as I mentioned earlier, it's not as expensive. It's not as expensive as you think. It's just a matter of having a conversation with a professional and letting them know you want to know your options.
Okay. And
you want to make sure you have the right coverage. So we talked about I, which is income replacement. All right. That, like I said, most people are thinking burial. No, you want to replace your income. Burial comes after that. Okay.
Okay.
If you have people that depend on you. Now, if you don't have anyone dependent on you, hey, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Right.
But most people have someone that depends on them.
Right.
And you want to think about how long you want your income to keep coming if you're not there with that family. And normally, we say 10 years. 10 years. For children, for you got parents that depend on you, that will give them time to adjust. That'll give them time to either bring the expenses down, whatever the case may be. But you want to replace that income. That's DI. And then in dime, we got the M. That's mortgage. Now, everyone doesn't have a mortgage, but if you have a mortgage, you want that thing paid off, right? But then also you got the E, which is education. There are people that don't even think about that. But listen, it's getting more and more expensive. And think about the fact that if your child can go to college and not have to be concerned about the financial aspect of that, so if you, when it comes to life insurance, the big misconception is that it's too expensive. I mean, I helped a lady the other day, 35 years old. Premium for $500,000 was $28. Like, come on,
right?
Come on,
right?
You know what I mean? Now that's based on, like, of course, her health and
right.
I mean, however, if you sit down and you have a conversation with a professional and you're open-minded, and you let them know, hey, look, I want to know the amount that I need, which you can calculate before you ever meet with them, because I just shared with you the dime strategy. Your debt, your income, replacing it for 10 years, 5 years, whatever's comfortable for you, whatever you want for your loved one. The mortgage, M, And then E is going to be making sure that, you factor in that education if you have children that depend on you. And for those that are single, no kids, like you have people you love, nieces, nephews, you may have a charity, you may be in a sorority, fraternity.
Right.
You want to, you want to make your contribution to the world. You can do it through life insurance. And guess what? That money transfers tax-free. Tax-free. Don't forget about that. That's your biggest expense every month.
Right.
If you look at those paychecks, guys, that's your biggest expense every month. Taxes. So guess what? The benefit that life insurance provides you is tax-free. Moolah, tax-free moolah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Denise.
Yes. So like now I see what you just said about far as the dime factor. So that was pretty much about that when it comes to setting that up for us that. Now let's just say there's somebody out there, they're like, okay, like you were saying, when it comes to money. And let's just say you got some people who are pretty much living paycheck to paycheck where a lot of times they don't have a whole lot of sponge to really. So it's like people make that decision like, okay, are we going to eat and pay my bills to keep a roof over my head and then still have this life insurance? So some people will not get it just because of that. So like, is it good to say, okay, if you're in that situation, go ahead and get a real cheap plan and then upgrade it? Is that something that someone can do? And what would you say about that?
You know what? That was like a tremendous idea, Denise. You're so smart. That was tremendous. Because look, here's the thing. I'm telling you, you want to have it. You want to have it, and then you can build from there. But you want to have it, and I want you to think about, like, a lot of people don't look at it like this. I look at life insurance this way, and then, like I said, I'm a little more passionate about it. My mom passed. It was some craziness with the funeral and trying to figure out, we didn't even have a procession to the graveyard. She didn't have a grave. We had to cremate her. So here's the thing. If you have to go term. Get your family protected. I've had clients that have said, well, I can't afford the permanent, so I'm not going to move forward and do anything. And I'm like, believe me, sir, in that situation, when I get that call, they're not going to care whether you had a term policy or a permanent policy, my man. All they going to care about is what is the check for.
Right.
That's it, right? So for those of you that you just haven't got around to it yet, you can reach out to me. My website is newsixfigures.com. Newsixfigures.com. There's a contact form. And, you can put a note in there or a message of what information you want help with regarding life insurance. But I was introduced to Denise through a friend of ours named Chris Zellers. And him and his wife, they're phenomenal. They're a dynamic couple. They've partnered with me, and I'm mentoring them to help them become, financial consultants. And the reason is they're going to impact their community. Because think about it, Denise, the people that you got your life insurance with, you trusted them, right?
Yes.
There was a relationship, right? There was a relationship there, right? Listen, life insurance is extremely personal. And I want you to know that when you see those GoFundMes, it's because somebody close to them didn't have a license. Never talked to them about it.
Right.
Never discussed it with them. So, getting back to it, misconceptions, guys. Just get a quote, get with a professional, and get a quote regarding, your life insurance protection. Now, we just talked about the baseline, which is just getting it.
Right.
And make sure you get enough.
Right.
But now we need to talk about the riders. That's where, that's the sizzle. That's where, the life insurance gets extremely exciting, right? If you understand them. So what I'm talking about is you have life insurance, but you also have life insurance with living benefits. Are you familiar with living benefits? Okay, awesome. So Denise, have you ever known of anyone to have a major medical event, heart attack, stroke, been diagnosed with cancer?
Right.
Gotcha. So what normally follows that from a financial perspective?
Medical bills.
Medical bills, expensive medication,
Right.
and expensive doctor visits, follow-ups, recurring treatment, right?
Right.
So the health insurance is going to pay for you while you're in the hospital, right? And you're being treated.
Right.
But what about your recovery time? What about that time when you can't work? Disability, right? You got disability income, right?
Right.
Not for the self-employed. If
Right.
you're a small business owner, it's highly likely you don't have that, right?
Exactly.
And in not having that, if you think about that, it'll keep you up at night if you're a small business owner. Like,
Right.
if I go down, how does my business continue?
Mm-hmm.
So living benefits are huge. They're built in to the life insurance policy. And what's cool is some of the most powerful life insurance companies have included that now. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's not even something that's extra. It's not something that you have to pay extra for. It's like built into the plan. And it's still very cost effective. But think about this, Denise, you're a small business owner, right? You have a scenario where, and we talked about, I'm familiar with your policy, like the
Right.
company you're with and all of that, right?
Mhm.
So they don't have what's called living benefits for chronic illness and critical illness. That's the key. See, there are agents that'll say, "Oh, yeah, you got living benefits," but it's only for terminal illness. And guess what? Your chances of becoming terminally ill versus just having one of those events, a heart attack, stroke, cancer. I know you've been seeing it. There's
Right.
like, starting to tick up, right?
Right.
Strokes. Young people, 35, 30.
I've been seeing
Stroke is crazy, right?
it.
But guess what? If you have the right kind of life insurance policy, you make a call, you getting a check cut, 300, 400, 500, $1 million. That's generational wealth.
Right.
Most people have those events and they're done financially for a while. You know what I mean?
And I say that it's really good that you talk about that, because when
Yeah.
I had to have surgery a while back,
Uh-huh.
and that was one of my problems, because with my business, with the
Yeah.
accounting business, like, okay, if I'm not working, I'm not getting paid. So that's honestly why I had started the travel business, because that was money that I can have residual. So it's like having something else. So it was like, if I didn't have that business in place, I wouldn't have had a check at all, because I wasn't working. So that's why I'm like, this is really good that you're talking about that, because some people don't have those type of things in place. If something happened, they're stuck. They don't have anything coming in, and then you still gotta, like, to bill people. They don't care that you're sick and you're down. They still want their money for the whatever you got going on. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, if you got residual bills, you need to have residual income coming in too.
Exactly. Exactly. And look, and see, you had a personal experience.
Right.
And look, so my experience is a little different. My experience was a situation, excuse me, guys, like, I'm sorry, I have a big German Shepherd and he's excited sometimes. So I'm hoping he doesn't bark all crazy. Somebody's outside, I guess. But what I was going to say is, my mom, before she passed, she was diagnosed with a terminal illness, congestive heart failure and kidney failure. I'm in college. I'm making it happen. We went in, conference championships in football. I'm making sure I'm on the dean's list, getting after it. And I get that call. They're like, "Hey, you need to come home. Like, your mom, she don't have a long time to live, right?"
Oh, wow.
So when I think that the reason I get passionate, I get excited about this is because, I haven't got that call. Well, I did get that call. Yeah, I'll talk about that story. But I had to go home, take care of my mom. My mom lived for about 18 months. But just like when I think about it, I'm like, wow, like, that would have been the perfect scenario for her to get access to the funds. Like, we had to assist her to go to the restroom. We had to, we had to cook and bring her food because she couldn't be standing up a long time.
Right.
She would have been eligible for living benefits.
Wow.
Tax-free money that you don't have to give back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think if you have a life insurance policy and you don't see chronic and critical illness on that policy, reach out to your professional that you deal with, or you can go to newsixfigures.com. I'm sorry, thenewsixfigures.com. And definitely please reach out. Let's get that handle. I'll show you how easy it is to get it done. And that's thenewsixfigures.com.
Now, let me talk about I know some people is asking, even in the chat, they're saying about what's the primary advantages of the Roth IRA compared to other retirement accounts?
Okay, cool. So the Roth is like, it's a fire product. And I think you should find a way to take advantage of those. Now, in our company, we can help you get access to those through our professional money management team. The Roth IRA. The beautiful thing about that product is when you take that money out, that money is going to be tax-free.
Okay.
That is the kicker with the Roth IRAs. And if you have the opportunity to, put money away in a Roth IRA, please do so. In a traditional IRA, that money there, it doesn't have the limitations that you have on Roth IRAs because that money is taxable. The Roth IRA is not taxable, but you got to think the IRS, they got to get their money. So they're going to limit the amount that you can put in there. So I think people should invest the max in a Roth IRA because when you take that money out in retirement, that money is going to come out tax-free. So you get to grow that money tax-free and access it tax-free. And guess what? Let me ask you this, Denise, and for all the people that are watching, right, and chiming in. I think our debt right now, our country's debt has gone up to about 35.4 trillion, something like that. There's a website called, I think it's called governmentdebtclock.org, but it shows, our government debt and how that things, when we're doing things in Ukraine and Israel, and it creates debt when we're paying income to government employees, but you have to do it. It's just a part of life. But guess where the majority of the revenue comes from for the United States? Taxes. So how are they going to be able to pay that debt down? They're going to have to raise the taxes.
Right.
And it may not happen immediately, but it's coming. And a good way to prepare for that is to just understand that in retirement, you want a portion of your retirement to be tax-free income. Because if you're getting income from a 401k, you're paying taxes on it. Okay.
Yeah, I try to tell them, do not mess with that 401 because they come to me with their taxes. They like, why I owe all this money? Like, because you pulling out that 401, so you're gonna owe that money, and they're gonna tax you. And not only that, you're gonna get double taxed because you gotta pay those taxes, plus you gotta pay those penalties because you pulled it out, beforehand. So it's like so much money you end up paying on pulling out from their 401k.
What? Hey, 100%, right? And what we do is, so as a company in my business, we educate families and small business owners on financial concepts. There are a lot of financial concepts out there. There's buy term and invest the difference. There's the law of building equity. There's life insurance with living benefits we just talked about. Active money management, the dime, which I talked to you guys about, which was how you calculate your life insurance. But one of the things I want people to understand, and I know you guys have heard a lot about it. It's like all over the internet. There's a lot of energy, a lot of fire behind it. And it's good because it's educational and people should know. So when you look at tax diversification, right, when you're building your retirement, the Roth IRA is wonderful, but it has limitations, right? You can only put so much in there because they don't want you to, stock your money away and, there's no tax, the IRS doesn't benefit from that, right? So that's why they have the limitations and the contribution caps.
Right.
Also, you can't make over a certain income and be able to put money in a Roth IRA. So you're limited there as well, right? In a traditional IRA, you don't have that. But remember, you don't have that tax-free aspect. Right. So now, when we go to talking about building a retirement, a solid retirement, you want tax diversification. we all know that, well, if you don't know, taxes are your biggest expense. And you can pay taxes now or you can really pay them later, right? And that's what people are facing. And look, this is another thing that's like crazy when we go back to the new six figures, right? Like when you think about this, you have to make more money to get to the goal. You gotta be able to make more to put more away, right? Because it's like expenses, the cost of goods just continue to rise, and then they'll give you a small little bump to your income. And then they raise, and then the expenses go way up, and then they'll give you another little bump, keep you satisfied, right?
So
but
trying to get this to the market right now, like going to the supermarket, buying 6 items, and you spending $100.
Look, the government's not going to save you. Who's president is not going to save you. You're going to have to find a way to either grow your business if you're a small business owner. You're going to have to find a way, if you're a W-2 employee and you're being max taxed, how to develop a side hustle or have a side gig where you can grow your income, because when you grow your income, then you can disperse that money to do amazing things for you. You can become that investor.
One more time, because I need somebody to hear what you just said, because I've been saying this forever. But I need you to repeat that part one more time.
Look, here's what you got to do. You have to grow your income first. Listen, grow your cash flow. That is the number one financial rule I want you to understand. Grow your cash flow. And then debt management. We don't want your expenses to grow with your cash flow. Okay? You grow the cash flow so that you can put money away and grow your retirement so that you can, stop working one day, spend time with family, travel, do the things you want, and not have to think about coming back to work. And how we in HGI help families is, man, we educate you. So you have like buckets. You got 3 buckets. You got the tax now bucket, right? Your tax now bucket is going to be like, your checking account savings, high yield savings, stocks, mutual funds. You're taxed on that like every year, right? And then you have tax later, which is a 401k, IRAs, your annuities, right? And then you have what's called tax advantage or tax never, which is your Roth IRAs, which is municipal bonds. And then you also have life insurance, right? So in life insurance, you put the money in after tax, and then it grows 100% tax advantage. The tax later, you put the money in before tax, and then your principal and growth are 100% taxed when you take that money out, right? So right now, a lot of people are in partnership with the IRS to pay them if they don't get a game plan in place and start to, allocate that money in the right way. Because the majority of our country, let's say, I think I was reading something, the stock market total value, the market cap for the stock market right now, I think it's 50 some odd trillion. And I believe 30 to 40 trillion dollars of that money is in 401ks. So all of those people are going to be in retirement paying like tremendous taxes on all of their retirement income, getting their Social Security income taxed because it's all considered like real income. Right. So we put together strategies to help you, with life insurance, retirement planning, Roth IRAs, things that where you can grow your money and take that money out tax-free. And believe me, if you think things are expensive now, can you imagine things being more expensive in the future?
I already can see.
And you bringing in less income because you're paying more taxes. Right? So this is why I say growing your cash flow is important. The money business is a $109 trillion industry. Everyone wants to go and get into real estate. Real estate is a $32 trillion industry. The financial business is $109 trillion. That's 3 times the size of the real estate industry. So if you're considering a side hustle, a side gig, a way to make extra money, I would love to show you more about how opportunity works. You
Mhm.
don't have to stop what you're doing. It will complement any position that you have or that you do, because you can come in and you can make money without licensing,
Mhm.
or you can come in and make money with a license, a state regulated license.
Mhm. Now let
So
me ask you
yeah,
one question before we go.
okay,
What, because I wanted to ask you some questions on trust, because I know we
oh,
touched on some questions the other, like we talked about some things the other day, because we talked about the housing, and
yeah,
like we was talking about how like now with having your like either your business, if you have your
yeah,
business, how you can put that into a trust and how
yeah,
things can work, and even with your home where you can
yeah.
actually have your home paid off and then not have to go through probates and things like that within the trust. Can you talk about that too, about the trust?
Absolutely. So, with the company that I partner with, Hegemon Group International, like I said, they gave me a fabulous opportunity. Taking care of many families, small
Mm-hmm.
business owners with their life insurance and things like that. And in the back of my mind, I just know, like, man, if the situation happens just perfect, they're gonna deal with a lot of foolishness with probate and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I wanted to be able to provide a trust, but you have to find the right scenario. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an estate planning attorney. However, as a financial consultant, I am able to refer my clients
Mm-hmm.
to one of the top online platforms that allows you to build your trust yourself with guidance and with the ability to reach out and get the information you need to make sure that it's designed and structured properly. And then
Mm-hmm.
all you do is go get it notarized. A lot
Okay.
of people think that they have to have an attorney to execute a trust. No, those documents, if you're on the right platform, you
Mm-hmm.
can build your trust, print the documents, go get them signed, and then upload them. And guess what? Your trust is executed. So
What are
when it
some
comes to
benefits
trust,
of having a trust?
say that again.
What's some benefits of having the trust?
Yeah, I was gonna get it. So benefits of having a trust is number one, privacy. A will is public record. So
Mm.
if you only have a will, just know that when you pass away, that's all public record. And a judge is gonna have to sort out, what happens with your assets.
Mm.
If you are a person that wants to pass your assets to your beneficiaries, I'm not even going to say your children, because you could have different people that you want to inherit. It could be a charity, it could be friends, whatever.
Mm.
So if you want your assets to pass with no interference at all, you have to have a trust. And there's a lot of information
Mm.
out there that's great. I'm glad that that's being brought to the attention of people, because we're talking 92% of America do not have 92% of Americans don't have trust. That's almost all. That's almost everybody in
Mm.
the US that should have one. And I
Right.
believe that everyone should have one. If you have something that you want to pass to, heirs and charities and people that you care about, that trust will make that transition super smooth. I know someone right now, they've been dealing with probate for 3 years. They've almost
Mm.
exhausted all of their money because you have to pay the attorneys to handle that for you. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what's really unfortunate is the cost is exorbitant, and it makes it tough for people to execute on those things. If you go sit down with an attorney, normally the pricing is from 2,500. Let's just say, if you get lucky, let's say 2 grand up to $5,000
Mm-hmm.
to get a trust. Whereas on our platform, you're able to get it done for $600.
Mm.
Now, now that's a trust, but that includes your will, because you want to have a will and a trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
The trust's going to keep you out of probate. It's going to make sure everything passes, and then your will is going to be there to take care of some, other smaller things.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about house, car, things like that. Bank
Mm-hmm.
account, you're going to have a trust. Without that, go see the judge, and the judge tell you what to do. If you don't
Right.
want that, if you don't want the government interfering, then yes, you want to have a trust in place. But wanted to say benefit, privacy. If you were to take your home and you were to put your home in the trust, guess what? It's no longer public record that you own the home. It's the trust that owns the home. Whatever name you give to the trust, that's what it'll be listed under. So a lot of people do that for privacy, and I think that's important, to help, protect you from like litigation and things like that in the future. People want to, try to look at this kind of house you have, and they're like, oh, yep, we're going to town on them. so you know what I mean? It's good to have that privacy, I guess you could say. Also, when you pass away, it's not public information. What's being moved, what's being transferred. If you only have a will, it's public information. If you want to keep things private, you want to go with the trust. But that's the main benefit, is no court interference with a trust. And look, there are different types of trust. The trusts that we help you with are very basic. You got properties. You may want to transfer vehicles, and you can have multiple properties. But we do have our firm where you can actually have attorneys help you if you have a more complex situation or you need an irrevocable trust. So you have, irrevocable and revocable trust. And the revocable trust is the living trust. That's the one that, you can, have the house, car, your bank accounts, have those things transferred with no issues with an attorney. So that's the benefit of having a trust. With a will, that's not going to happen.
Right. Now, what you just gave so many gems, because I was getting excited with the trust, because I'm like, okay, you can put, keep your court, because I, just like you said, I know someone who's been dealing with probate court for a nice 2 years now. So
wow, that's real.
It's just a headache. So I'm like, to keep that, where you don't have to go through that, it's just really good to have that have that trust in place. So just before we go, and this is going to be like pretty much close to my final, but can you just share a success story from one of your clients' financial situation that your company has helped with?
Gotcha. So look, I'm so excited about like this story here. And the reason is, right, the life insurance. What gets me excited more than anything, like you got cash value where you can grow your money and take it out tax-free and borrow against your policy. You can do all those things, right? You pass away, I'm bringing a big check to the family. But more than that, the living benefits, what I talked about, financial toxicity is real. Financial toxicity, they've been talking about that. They normally, you'll hear more about it around Breast Cancer Month. Right. But if you get into a major medical situation where someone has to care for you, you need assistance, I'm telling you, it is devastating. And if you combine that with financial problems, your recovery is just going to be a nightmare. So what we want is to create a situation where that can be a vacation. It can be a time where you recover, where you're relaxing, you're doing what the doctor needs you to do without stress. And I did that for a client of mine, and I wasn't even supposed to talk to her. I was taking care of her son, right? And her son's like, hey, my mom's in the other room. She works, with our company as well. Okay. So I go in there and I'm talking to her, and we bring her back in, and the son and the daughter, they're sitting there, they're covered because they worked with the company. Sorry, my dog's here. My pitch was we can hire, but and I wasn't supposed to talk to her. I went there to talk to, son and his wife. But I ended up talking to mom, and we got mom a policy. She was like, hey, yeah, I might as well get one. And I mean, she's like 60, maybe 60, 62 years old. We took care of the policy for her, and it was a life insurance policy that included living benefits. How about 3 months later? Like I said, I wasn't supposed to talk to her. Right. 3 months later, she has a stroke out of town. Like they're traveling. She has a stroke, and of course, thank God she didn't pass away. But it was one of those things where there was some like paralysis. Yeah, paralysis. Right. And it was a 90-day what's called there's a 90-day period where they have to maintain that condition. Like they have to continue to deal with it. Okay. And after 90 days, we retro paid her for when it initially happened. We retro paid her back to when it started. And this was 2 years ago that I wrote her policy. She's been paid $50,000 already.
Wow.
and it's going to total 100 because for 48 months she's going to get a check that's actually more than what she was taking home when she was working.
Wow.
And that money is tax-free every month. So I do have where living benefits kicked in for my client, and that got me even more fired up to talk to people and help them take advantage.
Now I have a question in the chat from Big Bilal 267. He said, you want to talk about index universal life policy.
Okay, awesome.
Can you talk about
IULs? So look, IULs are great, and I'm glad someone asked about it. We were talking about tax never, right? We were talking about the buckets, tax now, right, which is your bank account, stock, mutual funds, and then you got tax later, 401k, 403b, 457c, and then you got the IULs, Roth IRAs. That's tax never. So IULs are amazing because they allow you to participate in market growth in your cash value account, because with an IUL, you have your life insurance, a portion of the premium goes to life insurance, and then a portion of the premium goes to your cash accumulation account. And that cash accumulation account, guess what? You can structure your policy where most of the money goes to cash accumulation versus going to all life insurance. And we can structure that for you. That's something that I do on a daily basis. And it allows you to build a retirement money that you can access tax-free, and you still maintain your death benefit, which is tax-free. You have living benefits, which we've talked about, right? And you don't have to participate in market volatility. So what that means is, in an IUL, zero is hero. You have a floor. So if the market has a 10% loss, a 25% loss, you have zero loss.
Wow.
So that's when zero is hero. You know what I call it? I call it the sleep well IUL. The sleep well IUL.
You said you have two. Was there anybody else who had a question out there that you wanted to give to Mr. Taurus before we go? Okay. She said, IUL, let's go for the win. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hey, look, it's a good product. It's not the end all be all, but I think it's a great part of a balanced retirement plan. And the reason is, as I mentioned, you want to look in the future, you want to have access to money that you can live on as tax-free. So I say, let's get that balance now. That's something I'd love to help you with. And look, what I'm going to do is my website, thenewsixfigures.com, thenewsixfigures.com. That is how you can get in contact with me. It gives you, some information about our company, but there's a contact form. There's a area you can click on called contact. And look, I don't know it all. I'm not one of the Instagram gurus. I'm not that guy. I am a dude. I'm just building a business. I have some knowledge. I help people. None of these products, none of them are perfect. They're not the one. If I do this, everything's going to be wonderful. No, but we got to have balance. We just got to put it all together. And of course, you're the boss. So you will share with, as a matter of fact, Denise, you know what I'm going to do? For all of your clients, completely free, I will put together a financial needs analysis.
Okay.
Which is a complete breakdown of where you are. You can see it on one document, where you're trying to go, and what steps we need to take to help you get there. And I have partners, people that I partner with in our company that can help you with different aspects of taking care of a solid financial plan. So we have partners that are going to take care of the trust. I can help you on the life insurance side of it. I'm a pro. Also, if you want to take advantage of a business opportunity and have a mentor, someone that can help you use what we do to complement what you're already doing.
Okay.
I'm not saying you have to completely change careers. Some of you may want to do that, but you don't have to do that.
Right.
If you just want to add this as another income stream, I can show you how to do that successfully. I guess that's the way to put that.
Okay.
And we
So
have a
that's
very simple, system.
That's real good. So what I'm going to do, since you
Yeah.
stated that, is when I put everything together in the end, I'll then put out a code word for everyone, and it's going to be the new six figures. And
Okay.
so anytime somebody types in after I put this in, because I'll put a clip on this later, and I'll put on there the new six figures. So anytime somebody clicks in or they want information and they want to get their financial plan and then get to you, I'll make sure it automatically goes right to your link, so then they can be able to communicate with you to be able to
Awesome.
connect with you and get that planning going. So thanks again for coming on with me.
No problem.
I love for the fact that y'all hear that he's helping y'all out with this financial planning, y'all. So y'all better come on board. And I want to say thanks and give a shout out to Trillian and Chris as well, the Zellers, because they are the ones that connected me to you. So I have to give them their plug, because without them, I would not know you. So
wow. No, thank you, Denise. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on. And I know some people got on late, and so just so y'all, no worries, you still can view this the full live that we have right here. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. So if you go on, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it's going to be UBELLC TV, UBELLC TV. And then you can go in there and you can be able to go back, because I know he gave some gems, and I know y'all going to need to pause and listen to what he said and go back again. And you can do all that right on the YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe. And again, I don't want any of you to miss out on any other weekly tips on how you can level up and get some inspiration and motivation along the way. And as I always say, remember, whatever you want to do, it's possible as long as you're being your authentic self and being passionate about it. So until next Wednesday, y'all, again, I want to say happy Winning Wednesday, and I will see you all next week. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can watch the full video on YouTube. So have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, Denise.
And Mr. Williams.
Chris, Trillian, thank you.